If she never calls or texts you first, it's not just how she is, it's a choice. And the way you react to that choice will decide if she respects you or slowly forgets you. Welcome to Brainify On. Today I'll break down what you should really do when she never calls or texts first. Stay with me because each step I'm about to share is going to protect your dignity, your peace of mind, and your time. 1. Stop rewarding her silence. Here's the biggest trap men fall into when a woman never calls or texts first. They compensate. You wait for her to reach out. Nothing happens and you panic. So you step in. You send her a good morning text. You ask her how her day is going. You call when she doesn't respond. And you keep doing it, thinking that if you just stay consistent, she'll recognize your effort and finally start valuing you. But that's not how it works. Every time you reward her silence with your presence, you teach her something dangerous that she doesn't need to try. She doesn't need to invest. She doesn't need to initiate because you'll do it for both of you. And here's the reality. Human beings don't value what they don't work for. It's basic psychology. When everything comes free, we take it for granted. Think about it this way. Imagine you had a friend who never buys you coffee, but every day you buy him one. At first, he might appreciate it, but after weeks and months, he starts to expect it. He doesn't even think about it anymore because it's guaranteed. That's what happens when you reward her silence. Your attention stops being special. It becomes expected. So, the first step is simple, but it requires strength. Stop rewarding her silence. Don't text just to fill the void. Don't call because she didn't. Don't show up in her inbox when she made no effort to show up in yours. Instead, let that silence exist. Allow her to feel the absence of your words, your energy, your presence. And here's the powerful part. Silence makes noise when it's intentional. When she's used to you filling every gap and suddenly you don't. It shifts the dynamic. She notices the empty space. She wonders why you didn't message. She starts questioning what changed. And in that questioning, she starts to feel your value. This isn't about punishing her. It's about protecting yourself. Because the truth is, every time you fill her silence, you drain your self-respect a little more. But when you stop, you make a statement without saying a word. My time, my energy, my attention are not free for people who don't value them. That kind of quiet strength changes everything. So, step 1, stop rewarding her silence. Don't chase. Don't fill the void. Let her feel the weight of your absence. 2, match her energy. Now let's get real about balance. Relationships are mirrors. If you're giving more than you're receiving, the mirror cracks. And once that happens, respect begins to fade. Women don't lose interest because you're too kind or too caring. They lose interest because the energy is lopsided. You're sprinting while she's barely walking. So here's the golden rule. Match her energy. If she calls, call. If she texts, text. If she invests effort, reflect it back. But if she goes quiet, you don't break the silence just to prove your loyalty. You don't chase her shadow. This is where a lot of men get stuck. They confuse showing interest with overcompensating. Interest is healthy. It shows confidence. Overcompensating is needy. It shows fear. When you're always the one reaching out, you're not just showing interest. You're trying to buy her approval with effort. And that kills attraction faster than anything else. Matching her energy isn't about being cold or distant. It's about balance. Let me give you an example. Imagine a dance. If one partner is moving while the other stands still, it's not a dance anymore. It's desperation. But if both step in rhythm, it feels natural, beautiful, alive. That's what matching energy looks like. Now, what happens when you do this? 2 things. If she's genuinely interested, she'll feel the balance and lean in. She'll text more, call more, and match you back. But if she isn't really invested, her lack of effort becomes painfully clear. Either way, you win. You either reset the dynamic or you expose the truth. Here's the part most men forget. When you do all the work, you actually remove her opportunity to invest. She doesn't get to feel the thrill of wondering if you'll reply. She doesn't get to experience the satisfaction of making you smile. You rob her of her role in the connection. Matching energy fixes that. It forces her to participate if she wants the connection to continue. And remember this, women respect men who respect themselves. When you mirror her effort, you're not just protecting your dignity, you're teaching her how to treat you. So, step 2, match her energy, not less, not more, just equal. That balance is what keeps attraction alive. 3, reclaim your emotional control. Think about how many times you've sat there staring at your phone, waiting for her to reply. You send a message, and suddenly your entire mood depends on whether she replies in 5 minutes, 5 hours, or not at all. One little notification sound controls your day. If she answers, you're happy. If she doesn't, you're restless, maybe even angry. That right there is how men lose themselves. Here's the truth: nobody tells you. The moment you let her replies dictate your emotions, you've given her power she didn't even ask for. You've handed over the steering wheel of your mental state to someone who isn't even driving the relationship, and that loss of emotional control is what makes you look weak, not just to her, but to yourself. Women are intuitive. They can sense when a man is anxious, when he's desperate for a response, when his happiness is glued to her attention, and instead of making her want you more, it makes her pull away. Why? Because attraction comes from strength, not dependence. She wants a man who is centered, who has his own drive, who can stand tall, even if she goes silent for a while. So what's the fix? You take back control. You stop staring at the phone and start focusing on your life. You redirect the energy you waste waiting for her into yourself. Go work on your fitness, read, build your career, spend time with friends, do things that remind you your world is bigger than her texts. And here's the irony: when you stop obsessing, when you stop making her your center, she feels the shift. Suddenly, you're not as available. You're not hovering over your phone. You're not chasing. And that absence of obsession makes her curious. She wonders what changed. She starts questioning who has your attention now. That curiosity often makes her step forward. But even if she doesn't, you still win, because instead of losing your peace over a phone screen, you've been building yourself. You've been putting time into things that actually grow you, not drain you. So remember this: your emotions are your responsibility, not hers. Don't hand over control just because she's slow to reply or refuses to text first. You're not a slave to a ringtone. You're a man with purpose, vision, and value. Keep it that way. Step 3, reclaim your emotional control. Don't let her silence control your mood. Your happiness should come from you, not from whether she pressed send. 4, let absence do the work. Here's something men forget: nobody can miss what never goes away. If you're always texting, always calling, always available at the tap of a button, she'll never get the chance to feel your absence. And if she never feels your absence, she'll never recognize your value. Attraction isn't built in presence alone, it's built in absence. Think about it. When you eat your favorite food every single day, eventually it stops feeling special. But if you go weeks without it, the craving returns. The same principle applies here. When you pull back, when you stop flooding her with attention, you give her the space to crave you again. Most men are terrified of this step. They think, if I don't keep texting, she'll forget me. But the truth is the opposite. If she forgets you just because you didn't text for a while, then she was never invested in the first place. Better to know that now than waste months forcing something that doesn't exist. Giving space isn't about punishing her or playing childish games. It's about restoring balance. It's about letting her feel the silence she's been creating. When you stop filling every gap, she has to decide. Does she step up, or does she let the connection fade? Here's what usually happens. She notices the good morning texts she ignored are suddenly not there. The calls she took for granted are missing. She starts wondering what happened, why you pulled back, and whether someone else has your attention now. That's when her effort starts showing up. And if it doesn't, then she was never serious, and you've saved yourself time and energy. Either way, you win. Absence also brings clarity. It forces her to face how much or how little she values having you in her life. If she truly cares, she'll fill the silence with effort. If she doesn't, she'll stay quiet, and you'll have your answer. So step 4, let absence do the work. Stop forcing the connection. Give her the space to realize whether she values you or not. 5, test her interest. Now, let's talk about clarity. Because sometimes you just don't know where you stand. She never texts first, but she replies when you do. She answers your calls, but never initiates them. So, is she interested or is she just keeping you around as an option? The only way to know is to test her interest. And no, I don't mean playing mind games or setting traps. I mean pulling back just enough to see what she does when you're not carrying the whole connection on your back. Stop being the first to text every morning. Stop being the one who always calls at night. Stop making all the plans. Just pause, then watch what she does. If she cares, she'll notice. She'll step forward, she'll call. She'll text, she'll check in, because she doesn't want to lose the connection. But if she doesn't, her silence will match yours, and that silence is your answer. It means her effort was never real. Yes, it stings to realize she might not care, but clarity is better than confusion. It's better than wasting months chasing someone who was never going to choose you. The beauty of testing her interest is that it forces her to reveal her true intentions without you having to ask directly. Actions always speak louder than words. If she wanted to text, she would. If she wanted to call, she would. If she wanted you in her life, you'd feel it. So stop guessing, stop hoping, test it. And once you see the truth, act on it. If she shows up, good. If she doesn't, let her go. Step 5, test her interest. Stop doing all the work and see what she does when the ball is in her court. 6, raise your standards. This is where everything comes together. If she never calls or texts first, if she makes no effort to initiate, yet you keep holding on, the problem isn't her anymore. It's you. It's the standards you've set for yourself. A man who values himself doesn't beg for attention. He doesn't tolerate neglect. He doesn't settle for crumbs and call it a meal. He has standards and he sticks to them. Raising your standards means deciding you will no longer entertain one-sided connections. You will not keep chasing women who don't chase you. You will not pour energy into people who don't give anything back. This is where most men struggle because they fear being alone. They think, if I let her go, what if I don't find anyone else? But here's the truth. When you raise your standards, you don't lose women. You filter them. The wrong ones fall away and the right ones step forward. And the right woman, she won't make you wonder if you matter. She won't leave you guessing. She'll text, she'll call, she'll invest because she actually values you. When you raise your standards, you also send a clear message. You respect yourself. You're not desperate. You're not afraid to walk away. And that kind of energy is magnetic. Women respect men who respect themselves. So ask yourself, why am I accepting the bare minimum? Why am I tolerating neglect? Why am I convincing myself that someone who gives me nothing actually cares? That's not love, that's self-neglect. The moment you raise your standards, the dynamic changes. You stop begging, you stop overthinking, you stop lowering yourself just to keep someone who doesn't truly want you. And you start attracting women who don't need to be convinced of your value. They see it instantly. Step 6, raise your standards. Stop chasing people who don't chase you. Stop begging for effort. That should come naturally. Respect yourself enough to walk away from one-sided love. So here's the truth. If she never calls or texts first, don't chase, don't beg, and don't lower yourself. Stop rewarding silence, match her energy, reclaim your emotional control, let absence do the work, test her interest, and most importantly, raise your standards. When you do that, one of two things will happen. She'll step up or she'll step aside. Either way, you win. If this video spoke to you, hit subscribe to Brainify on and drop a comment below. Have you ever dealt with a woman who never texted first? Let's talk about it.